Hey guys, it's been ages since I've posted deck review. Yeah, forgive me for that, but not much has been going on in Gwent for a while. But now Homecoming is here finally, and I can get cracking with the decks. Sorry for my voice. I've been a little bit ill recently, had a bit of a cold, still not quite gone, so my throat is a little bit, in the wars at the moment, but I still want to put out a video today because I've been experimenting a bit with Scorches deck here. It's kind of the first deck I've really sunk my teeth into with Homecoming, and yeah, it's quite a lot of fun to play. I found it's really sort of enthused me and made me want to play a lot of games with the new Gwent. And it's all focused around sort of this kind of like puzzle solving kind of thing going on with the Scorches and lining up units, which I've enjoyed a lot of in the previous versions of Gwent with Ithne control and stuff like that. Now this is just a new version of it pretty much, and I think it's quite powerful. Really hard to say what, the tier 1, 2, 3 decks are going to be at this point. There's so many things being played at the moment, and a lot of variety, a lot of strong stuff, a lot of not so strong stuff. Not really sure what is gonna be right at the top and at the bottom and whatnot. I did take a list from Adzikov and I changed quite a few of the cards, especially a lot of the bronzes around to fit what I think will work best. But just keep in mind this deck might not be super good at some, depending on what people are playing at the moment, just because it's running a lot of artifacts. You've got Sahil, you've got your spears, you've got your thunderbolt potions, and these can kind of get countered pretty effectively by things like Frenzied Dow, which destroy artifacts, as well as sappers or the equivalent card in whatever faction you're running up against. So yeah, full disclaimer, like I don't know how strong this deck is. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it seems pretty okay. So if you're looking to try something sort of more control-y and yeah, Squirtle focus, then maybe give this a go. Anyhow, let's jump into the cards. So we have Ithne. This leader's pretty cool. It's pretty strong as well. You basically damage 3 units by 1, and you can do that in every round. The charges refresh on her ability after each round, so she's pretty effective at removing units should you need to do that, as well as just lining things up for Scorches, Epidemics, or whatever you need to do. So she's really, really nice in this list, synergized with a lot of stuff. We have Sihil, which actually works really well with Ithne because Sihil is going to be an artifact that is damaging enemies, and whenever it kills an enemy, it basically increases its damage permanently. So this can really get really, really crazy if you kill, a unit early on using your Ithne ability or another card to synergize with that Sahil. So yeah, Sahil's really strong. It can also help to line up the Scorches, which this deck is kind of relying on. So next up we do have that Scorch. Same as in old Gwent, you're burning the highest units and works really well with all the lineup tools that we have in this deck. So that's going to be one of the key kind of win conditions of the deck. You're going to aim to get like a longish round with the Scorch and trying to make sure your units are small and their units are big, or all at the same strength. So next up we have Shiru, which is kind of with the similar Scorch theme. This is a really interesting card because it's destroying all units with the same power. So typically you want Shiru with a Thunderbolt potion, which is here. And this can be used to boost him up. So if you play the Thunderbolt potion down one turn, and then the next turn play Shiru, you can actually boost him with the order effect here. And he can end up scorching all the other 4 strength units, 6 strength units, whatever, right? And again, you can use Sihil, Spears, Ithne, everything like that to align the enemy units while also boosting your Shiru up. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, really, really cool card, awesome to play with, really fun, and pretty powerful when it works. Next is Synthesis. Not sure how to pronounce this. This is just like a solid 8-point card, and it's immune, so that means the enemy can't target it. Pretty useful because this can kind of fit with the game plan of not playing units. You play your artifact cards, your spears and whatnot. Your removal options like Thunder, Scorch, Sahil, all this stuff. This gives you another card to play that won't be interactable with the, opponent's removal and such. So you can maybe squeeze out a few extra points of value if their removal cards aren't hitting something for one you know, extra turn. Pretty nice. And just solid points, yeah, pretty good. And you'll see that its ability allows it to, you know, be buffed up by a Thunderbolt or whatever if you have to do that. Also pretty neat, you can if you're on blue coin, you can play this, use its ability, and then give it tactical advantage, and it'll become a 13-point immune body, which can be really hard for the opponent to catch up to if they're playing a reactive deck that doesn't have a Scorch or something. So that can be quite a nice thing to do. Anyway, next we have Frenzied Dow. This is like solid provision for points value, and you get to destroy an enemy artifact. There are quite a lot of those going around, so really good value card. If it destroys an artifact, really, really good. Like, really, really, really good. Then we have Epidemic. I think this works pretty well in this deck. You can obviously disalign your own units, buff your units up, knock theirs down to set that Epidemic up. Often you're finding, you know, at least 8 value with this if you get a good Epidemic, maybe even more. Justifies the provision cost, I think. Then you have Ciara, just a nice lock, you know, pretty decent value card overall. You're going to get at least 2 value from a lock usually, right? Next we have Witches, which right now are basically auto-include in every deck. They're like just 12 points, which is really, really great, right? Plus they thin the deck. And they're not too high above the average sort of provision cost of a card, which is like 6.5 or something. So yeah, pretty powerful all around. Then we've got Thunderbolt, which is just a really good card. Always 6 points, unless it gets answered, I suppose. But it has Zeal, so that shouldn't really happen unless you play into their removal. And yeah, obviously works really well with Shiru and Epidemic as well. And you can even buff up the opponent's units as well into Scorch range if you want to do that. So really flexible card, and really, really powerful. Thunder, some more removal. We've got the Spears, which are pretty, again, they're like having extra Ithne charges to just pop units down, set up Scorches, really cool. Sappers is just a solid, kind of similar to the Frenzied Dow, it's like good artifact removal. Yeah, pretty solid card. Dolphin Archer, 5 points for 5, pretty okay, and it's allowing you to both kill cows from Jermaine, like knock down 1-point units, which is good against some swarm decks, and of course you can also line up units with that effect, or try to destroy engines and whatnot the opponent plays with the 2 damage option. Likewise, we have Panther for that reason, 3 damage, able to knock out a lot of their engines, really powerful. Officer again, same thing, but a bit more flexible. You can boost if you don't have a unit to damage. Wolfpack, just really, again, more damage, and the provision cost is okay. Like, we need some filler for the deck, right, because of the new provision system. And then Pyrotechnician is actually pretty strong here, I think. If you have 1 or 2 Thunderbolt potions, or even a Mastercrafted Spear, this can get something like 7 value, 6 value. It's pretty good card for the provision cost. Sometimes it's not amazing. That's why we have 1 of, in case you don't want to draw that dead or whatever. But yeah, that's the deck overall. It's kind of relying on artifacts and then Scorch effects to just outvalue the opponent in a couple of rounds. So yeah, I'll jump into a game of it and see how that goes. Alright guys, it's like we've got an Eridin opponent. Eridin's pretty interesting because obviously the effect is really strong. He gives a unit +4 and immune. Pretty powerful effect. And we are basically going to aim to Scorch the unit that he makes immune. That's like the one way to answer that. Here we're going to mulligan a Witcher because we don't want to, have that bricked in hand from turn 1. But apart from that, we don't really want to mulligan anything else. We want to save those for later. Hopefully get some value on the mulligans. Yeah, in round 2 and 3. And I think typically you only want to mulligan bricks round 1. You don't really want to mulligan away any other cards. Save those mulligans for later when you actually need the points, sort of in round 3 or maybe 2 if you're planning on pushing or whatever. So pretty much the plan here, I think, is going to be to set up an artifact or whatever. Round 1 we can kind of just use, play it by ear. We don't necessarily want to commit our good cards. We can if we see an opportunity to win the round or force some kind of card advantage later down the line. Of course we want to use Ithne procs because we'll get them back in round 2. And yeah, probably just going with Spear at the beginning is fine. We could also go with Sihil, but this might bait out some artifact removal if he has it, maybe a Nithral or something. without losing us our Sahil win condition. Plus, if we play this sort of next turn, maybe we can immediately get the bonus proc on it, which will give us more damage as the round goes on. Might also be better to save this for later rounds, where we can sort of abuse the fact that the opponent can't pass. If they don't have an answer to it, they'll just lose the game, so it could be really good. Maybe just another spear is the way to go. We do kind of want to save a spear or maybe some kind of artifact for later, where we can align all his units to the same strength. That could be nice. Tempted to go with Sahil though, for that reason we just said. I think it's okay to do it. There's some really nice value from it if he doesn't have an answer, and it will mean we don't have to commit our good cards like Witches, Synthesis, Shiru, stuff like that, if we don't want to. So that should be good. But yeah, Eridan's going to be kind of tricky, because if he gets off a good, you know, Gales or whatever with the immune effect, we're not really going to be able to catch up in points. We're going to need to be able to remove that unit. It kind of might be hard to with Shiru if the unit is odd strength and we can't boost him to the right amount. Might be a bit of an issue. So there's Ruin. Okay, pretty happy to see that one. If he's not boosting it, which he's not. So Sahil right now is doing 2 damage. We could go with another spear, although I think that's overkill. I actually want to abuse the tempo here with the Witches, I think, and push for that win on even. If we win on even cards, we can just play round 2 out as long or as little as we want. We can get rid of our bad cards, which is quite valuable, and we can kind of maybe bleed the Eridan from him. So yeah, if we go with, we'll go with the one Ithne shot, the spear, and the Sahil. Maybe it's not worth committing the Lambert. We will, in that case, you know, have to commit a good card. I think it's probably worth it. Of course, we use the 2 Ithne procs now as well to secure that win on even, should he pass. So now he's really got to think about pushing at the tempo, or he might take the pass. You know, it's not too bad for the blue coin player now if he loses on even. You know, we won't be able to dry pass and get our card for free at this point, so we'll have to, you know, probably play into round 2 a bit. He'll be able to dump some of his bad cards as well as us, and it won't be too one-sided probably, but yeah, we'll see. Really, you're okay to throw Witches out round 1 with this deck, I think. You kind of just pretty happy. Ooh, that's pretty nasty for him to have played. So now we're kind of, I mean, obviously it's not as easy. Wait, does this come back every time? Oh my goodness. The card is ridiculous. I forgot that it did that. I probably shouldn't have killed it. Whatever, we're learning. We are learning the game. So here we can still go down to like 4 cards if we're going to do a dry pass. It's perfectly safe to keep playing. Probably we can just fire off another one of these. Play our worst card, which is Wolf, I think. And just end our turn. Obviously we committed the Witches, which in hindsight probably isn't very good for us. But we got some artifact removal in the Nithral, which is always good to get early on, and yeah. Ruin's not a bad card as well to have him play. So what else? Synthesis later will be nice. Pretty scared of this Eridan ability. This with Gales or whatever later is quite scary. Okay, so we can go down to 4 cards and we're not losing card advantage. So 2 cards played to take the round. We get 2 from the spear, so we need 18 points in 2 cards. It's kind of not possible to make. So I think we just fire off the pass here, let him take the round. Not really that great for us, because he still has his leader ability, which is stronger than ours in a single round, I think. Albeit we have a pretty okay hand. Gonna need to draw, you know, a Scorch effect maybe, to be looking good here. Epidemic might work as well. I don't think we want a mulligan right now. If he pushes us this round, we're a card up, so we shouldn't really be in too much trouble. And if we save the mulligans for round 3, we then have a safer And more effective mulligan. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll see how that goes. I think the games are generally quite a bit longer now than they used to be. Just because you draw 3 cards each round, right? So more turns are played each game, I think. Alright, Rot Fiend is perfectly reasonable. We can probably just go ahead and either play Spear or Thunder. I think Spear is probably okay, but I kind of feel like a Thunder. Just to immediately get rid of that. Deny any value he would get there from, you know, from my Spear, pinging it and then wanting to Thunder it later and whatnot. Just better to Thunder straight away. We have Lock, we have Epidemic to deal with other things. And we kind of want to keep the board clean in case he goes for like a Ruin play or something. Not Ruin. Gale's play or something, so that we can answer it with Epidemic. Maybe he won't go with that, but we shall see. Hand's not terrible. We of course can do some Shrew plays if we get to round 3, and it looks like we do, so I'm going to take it of course with Officer. Don't want to commit any of our good cards. And yeah, even cards round 3 is kind of what you expect every time, right? I would say he probably has an edge here just because he still has Eridan available. If we can't counter that play, we're going to be in really big trouble. Okay, we have some decent draws here. Probably the Officer's going to be a mulligan here. Not super powerful. Pyrotech is quite good if it works. Not a bad card, but honestly, probably Archer's better, so we're just going to mulligan this anyway. Sapper's not amazing unless he's playing a lot of artifacts, which probably he isn't playing, but you never know. Didn't get Scorch, unfortunately, that would have been really nice, but we'll still make this work with Shuru and Epidemic, hopefully. We want to start things off probably with the Spear, not really committing to anything, not playing a unit on the board or anything like that. Just going to allow us some room to do the things. Yeah, this will get really sketchy if he can get the Eridan off and we're not able to answer it. That'll be the trickiest thing here. But we'll see how it goes. Fortunately, Ciaran can't lock those immune units, otherwise that would be pretty nice to be able to do. Spear ends up being worth a lot of value though, like, think about how long this round is, probably about 9 value, right? So probably just zapping this is worth doing. Don't see an issue with that. It will come back stronger, but whatever. We do have the choice, you know, to play many different things now. I'm kind of tempted to go with Thunderbolt. If he does have artifact removal, we're going to be in trouble. Not really sure what I can do about that. Also, Synthesis isn't a bad play. Kind of like it. It's immune, so we're not really in trouble. And we don't need to, you know, Epidemic is on Foglet right now, so this won't be in range of that anyway. Kind of like this as a play. We can then maybe play Thunderbolt, play one of the charges or something to, you know, limit the value he'll get from a artifact destruction if he has it. Could be quite good. Really hope he has some artifacts, otherwise we're not going to get too much value from the Dow and the Sappers, albeit, you know, 7-point card isn't bad. Never too sad to see that. Interesting, so he's going to Eridan this. Looks like. Pretty wild. Not sure I like that play. It's not too valuable in, I guess it is a card. Pretty good, but I don't think it's worth that many points to do that. So I guess now the aim is we're going to try to find an Epidemic on this dash. I don't think it's possible, but I think playing Thunderbolt now is safe. We can go Thunderbolt and then buffs the Synthesis one time, And we'll leave the other 2 charges there for sure. If he has artifact removal, it's not as bad for us, and we can now epidemic dash if he doesn't play a unit here. He probably will, but if he doesn't, we'll have a really good time. If he does remove this Thunderbolt, we're going to basically have to try align everything with the 2-point shooter, which is going to be really difficult, and won't get us that much value, but it's just the way of it when this deck runs into counters. When it doesn't, it's very strong, I think. But yeah, this is kind of his main play, I suppose. He's kind of relying on the dash to win the game, or at least get a lot of value. So if we can shut that down, we'll be looking really good. Looks like we probably can't shut it down with Epidemic, at least. Interesting. So probably worth just playing Panther on this to kill it. I'm kind of looking at Epidemic and thinking, well, maybe we want to take the value from that now, before it gets too difficult to do that. I think I'm interested in knocking down the Foglet and playing Frenzied Dow. Alternatively, we could Ciara and unlock the Harpy Egg. That might be better, just to deny that Deathwish effect. Kinda not sure how I feel about that. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Alright. We're looking okay here for the moment. Still have, you know, a hidden 6 points plus 4 plus 3, so we're kind of ahead by, you know, give or take quite a few points. 10, 15, something like that. Plus, you know, Shuru combo can be really powerful. And we're probably getting about a 9-point Epidemic here, I think. Maybe a little bit more if we can align it. We can deal like 4 damage to align an Epidemic, so if he plays anything like a 7 within that range, then we can make things happen. So really quite flexible, this deck. You can align shit very easily if you you know. Ooh. That was not really a good play, was it? Basically played a 0-point card. Kind of happy with that. This is interesting, so I think now we do just want to proc that and prevent the Deathwish effect. It's kind of tricky. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Maybe we just Epidemic now because it's safer. I would like to have the option to play Shrew for 6. Yeah, I think Epidemic now is probably the best way to do things. Maybe not. You know what? Let's just play Frenzy Dow. No. I think Panther. Delete that, and then we can start pinging this into range. We can probably buff our Panther as well. But maybe he'll damage it. I think it's more likely he'll have damage for this than Artifact Destruction. He probably would have used it already, so. Should be good. Yeah, I mean, that play was like not very good for him, right? Just trying to allied unit, spawn and play a base copy of it. Consume an allied unit on this row, okay. Siri dash value coming in now. But this isn't too bad. We probably do want to take the Epidemic now, I think. Maybe not even yet. Kind of wait. But then again, he can consume units and then make that more difficult to get. You know, the value there, so I think we'll probably do take it. Yeah, I think it's worth it. And you see we can kind of disalign our own units. It's pretty effective, right? So we take that 9-point Epidemic. It's definitely not strong, not weak. We still have a 1 proc of this, 4 of this, and then 2 of Maze, so we're effectively up 8 points, so 20-point gap right now. He is an extra card ahead than, you know, he normally would be because of dash, but he's going to need quite a bit of value to catch up here. We also have this Shuru proccing on 4 strength units, so that might be really powerful. We could make it work. Royal Decree coming out. course, we don't want to play our own 4-point unit, that would be a little bit troublesome. That's not too much value, gives us a really easy mastercrafted spear. And then we'll just play Frenzy down out. Nothing else. We can't target the Siri Dash, of course. So. Yeah, we're trading up still on plays, so it's looking pretty good for us. Probably comes down to whether we find Shuri value or not. If this hits 2 8s, it's really, 2 4s, it's really powerful. If it hits 1, it's okay. It's solid 8 points, or rather 6 points, I guess. Oh, Gwent. This is a 4 point for us to proc. Interesting. So he can seize this, right? If we allow that. Interesting. I think I'm okay with that. I think we're okay with that. We just go spear here. Let him have it. We could also, maybe it's worth it to just do this. I think I prefer this play actually. While we don't get the buff on the Shuru, which kind of sucks, we are going to be able to line up, you know, maybe we shouldn't have played it there, it's into Igni. I guess either way it's into Igni, but yeah. There's a lot to think about in the moment-to-moment plays here, like with this deck, with the enabling Shuru or not. It's pretty interesting. So we have 4 damage effectively to align Shuru, plus we have 2 spear effects, so I think effectively now we just want to try line up the Gales and the Karanth here, so we'll do that. I think first we'll go with lining up the Gales, and then hopefully last play we're able to Ithne down another unit to 2, and then Shuru to destroy them. He might be able to get the points, I don't know, we're pretty far ahead at the moment, but if he's hiding some kind of big play like Witcher, yeah, Maruna, pretty strong, right? Definitely not a bad one. However, we can proc both Maruna and the Archer down and take, destroy them with Shuru. Should we want to do that? We probably don't want to proc the Maruna, so we'll shoot the Archer and Karanth down. And yeah, hopefully this is enough points to take it.
What do you want?
It's 8-point Shuru still, so not bad. And he's got 2 cards and he needs like 18 points, give or take. It's probably doable, but need to be quite strong cards. And that Frighten is not going to be active, I don't think. Unless he has, like, I don't know how he can destroy 3 units. Seems not possible. Karen on Maruna is strong. But I don't think he can target that Siri Dash, so Frighten are not going to be able to activate. But I like the idea, pretty close on his part. If that had worked, it would have won in the game. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully that showcased the deck a bit. It's pretty intriguing. It's like kind of a puzzle every game. You need to think really hard about what you're lining up, what you're not playing into, what you are playing into, and all this different stuff with the combo pieces. It's really, really fun to play. So yeah, feel free to give it a go if you don't know what to play. And yeah, I'll hopefully do some more of these little deck videos in the future. And yeah, again, sorry for my voice. Struggling with a cold, but yeah, either way. I hope you had a good one. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.